just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Back in My Day, a round to all the biggest topics and also a round 3 preview, proudly brought to you by Lontel Internet. Go to lontel.net.au/bloke. Get your 7 days free, no credit card required, no contract, and $25 credit. And also, anyone that signs up in the next few weeks goes in the draw to win $1,000 cash. Also brought to you by MberX, boys. How did we go last week? I'm going to say the Bloke Tipping comp. Go to download the MberX app. You can join the Bloke Tipping comp. It's Bloke Tipping, all one word, with bloke in uppercase. I have had an absolute Barry Crocker start. An absolute shocking start. So last week I went 3 from 8, and the week before I went 2 from 8. So I'm only 5 tips correct out of, 16 games.
That's rough.
That's bad. How you looking?
I've gone 5 from 8 twice, so not bad.
That's all right.
I'm still sitting 1,004, 5,000, whatever. But I look over at you and I feel good about myself.
What are you, Reni?
We're meant to be experts too. That's the thing.
I know.
But I think I was
Denon.
5 from 8 and 4 from, was this 7 games?
You went 5 from 8 round 1.
No, 4 and then 5 this
See,
week.
I reckon if you went 5 from 8 from round 1, you don't get footy. Like you're you're almost like the opposite.
just throwing a dart.
Yeah, you've just thrown a dart. You've actually said shit tips, but the shit tips got up.
Yeah. You're just someone who's watched the trials way too emphatically.
Yeah, I did.
You just got hooked in.
It got me there. Every fucking year, I know trials mean nothing, and every year I get excited.
Got him.
Gold Coast Titans were going to win the comp.
They still are.
Oh, yeah. You heard that, boys? That's the great Jack Johns. He's back with us again this week. He said, I was like, mate, you can sit anywhere. And he was like, no, I want to sit in the cuck chair. So appreciate
Well, I
that.
want to go somewhere I'm used to. Just watching you go at it.
Good ambient lighting over there as well.
Oh, mate, it's very moody.
In the dark.
And very moody. It's very actually hotel lighting sort of setting.
Yes,
From a distance, get to see the lamp on you.
Yeah,
so
everything's been
got a good view of
strategically
Reni.
placed and angled.
Reminds me of the Flamingo in Vegas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a couple of times. Actually, I've ran into you in Vegas. Me and Rennie actually had a bit of time in Vegas.
we
too.
did.
Okay.
We did.
Is that PG?
Very steady.
13 plus
We
or
were
what?
well behaved, Jack.
Yeah, we were singing Jeremy by Pearl Jam at one point.
Yeah.
Very
not that
good.
one, that's
With a
not my
couple of
alley.
those fish bowls.
Are you a Pearl Jam guy?
Yeah, I was when I was young.
Okay.
Oh, I was
Very
right
good.
into my
All right,
grunge.
okay.
No Effects, Pennywise, bit of Gunners. Yeah. I was into
Wow,
it.
okay. All right. Mate, how's your tipping going?
Yeah, 5 from 8 as well, but I actually had that Eels tip, so I got that up
Yeah.
to get the edge. But then the Titans, Warriors got me because I backed the Raiders, and there was one more on that Friday night.
I decided to turn the other cheek because you got lippy about the Eels. You know, obviously you put up on social media bragging about your Eels tip.
Yeah.
Bragging
But
heavy.
Didn't say shit about the bad tips.
Yeah, karma got me the next day.
Yeah.
Footy karma's a real thing.
It happens.
It is. You know, you
It
got to
happens.
expect when you're a smart
Very
ass.
quiet the next day. No
Yeah.
mea culpa. And I just want to show that. See, that's why I'm not going to stoop to your level, mate.
Yeah.
I could have easily put up a meme putting shit on you, but I'm not going to do that to you, mate.
It's very personal when you say level when I'm down here in the cup chair, just watching from below, looking up at you.
Are you getting turned on right now because you're getting cucked? Like,
I'm not saying no.
all righty, boys. Well, actually, have you been watching the Rexona Challenge, Rivals Challenge?
I've
Mate,
watched little bits of it, yeah.
Mate, get on Fox. There was the hanging challenge
How we doing?
recently. We're doing all right. I can't talk too much. I actually know what the result is.
Oh, right, okay.
Can you bet on it?
But it's good, especially the actual challenges. It's good stuff, and it only gets better. And I will say, I was there when they filmed it.
Oh, right.
Having been there when they filmed it, drama is incoming. I'll tell you that. Drama is
Bit
incoming.
of Wes Naguama, eh?
Yeah, a bit of Kevin Nangama's. It is a lot of drama incoming. So tune in next week. I've been loving it. I've been proud of the boys. They've been chirpy, which I respect. Very, very chirpy. I like that as a footy player. But yeah, tune in for the next few weeks. A bit of drama is incoming.
Proud of the boys.
Okay. Last night, talk about Kevin Nangama's. The absolute explosion between the Raging Bull and Badel. They go head to head. Okay, so Adam Reynolds has been ruled out for the Storm game. Gordon Tallis, during a call, said essentially that it wasn't a good look, essentially. But it was about 3 hours into a call, wasn't a good look. Obviously, that makes headline. It's the Raging Bull. We all love the Raging Bull. So he's been vocal about him flying down in the media commitments during a press conferences and not properly rehabbing. So Peter Badel said on NRL 60, and we actually said this last week, how I was like, soft tissue, because it's a cartilage, there's nothing you can do to speed up recovery. Whereas if it was like soft tissue or something, I highly doubt he would have been on that plane. Anyway, Peter Badel said on 360, he spoke to the club doctor and he said flying down does not impact a rib cartilage, but Gordon Tallis said if it happened in his day, his teammates would be filthy. Now he's missing. Madge also said if it was a grand final, Reynolds would play. Here's the transcript. So Badel said, your initial criticism was that Reynolds shouldn't have flown. Tallis said, the players would have frowned upon it. If I'm playing with someone and he puts himself in front of us, it's not good. He said, Badel said, your initial grievance was that he is flying affected his ribs. That's wrong. Tallis, no, listen. And this is when you saw the raging bull start to come out. No, listen. It was 3 hours into a radio show. You and Travis sit here waiting for me to say something. You write it and hit the Broncos, but I've got to cop it. You should cop it, Badel said. Tallis said, sometimes you've got to go through the pain. That's what this Broncos jersey deserves, and you can't tell me any different. And if you don't think it deserves that, that's fine, but I do, and I wore it, and you didn't. Wow, it's getting feisty. Badel, Reynolds, whether he flew here to Fox Studios is immaterial. There's 25 rounds to go. Why risk it now? Anyway, they go back and forth. Got to the point where Tallis essentially said, I wouldn't sit out, or something like I wouldn't do that. Badel returns serve and says, you did sit out. And then Tallis says basically...
That was the little spark.
That was the little spark.
Yeah.
Then Tallis says that was at the Dragons. I'm wrong. Anyway, I'm going to say, look, I love Gordy, but I'm going to have to respectfully disagree. I think that he is... I think he's wrong on this situation. Like, there's so many different things. Like, because another part of the argument was, you know, when I fly, you know, when I get back late at night on, say, a Tuesday night, on Wednesday morning, I'm not at 100%. But, like, there's so many different things. Like, we don't know how hard the training was on that Saturday for Reynolds. Like, we all know that. So that would have been 2 days after a game. It could have been a light sesh. We don't know what time it was either. It could have been in the afternoon. What did he do at the training session? I will say, and look, who am I to speak on the great rage? This is the Raging Beak right now. This is the Raging Beak. Who am I to say, you know, Gordy, a goat, all that stuff. However, I will say that the back in my day chat is tough, and this is what this podcast is actually called. Because like back in our day, you used to get blind the night before. You used to get blind after getting injured.
I used to go out in a moon boot.
Yeah, like I don't know about the whole
glass
recovery.
houses.
I don't know about that one. And on top of all that, so the whole yarn against Madge, and I just think it's getting to points where it's getting a bit crazy at the moment. I understand, you know, it is a Broncos head coach, a bit of pressure initially, but I just get it's getting bizarre. But like on one hand, we're saying Madge is too much of a psycho, like too intense off the field, too intense on the field. And then on the other hand, now we're having a crack at him for allegedly being too soft on Reynolds and saying, I'm telling you right now, if Madge even had an inkling that Reynolds could play against the Storm and that it would affect his ability to be ready for next week, there is no way Reynolds gets on that plane. On top of all that, like clubs all the time say, oh yeah, that player might be playing, when they already know internally that they're not going to be playing. Yeah. And there's been plenty of players that haven't played the next week after having rib cartilage damage. So I just have to disagree with the Raging Bull there. Love him, but I think he's wrong here.
I was there.
Oh,
I
you
was
were,
at
yes, you did
360
say.
last night, and I was in the green room, and old Bomber Badel, he was on debut. He comes in, and
Was that his debut? I
I
love
think
that
it was
from
his
him.
day.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a big debut.
debut.
Yeah.
Right. So Gordy did bring it up. I won't disclose too much, but you know he's obviously upset around the headlines about what he'd said and what was in the papers up north, and it was all everyone getting it wrong, eating a couple of lamb shanks here, a few lollies, you know, shaking hands, and then when they got on live and they started going at it, I was like, I gave me anxiety.
Yeah,
because
okay.
you could see the Bomber, like Badel at first was a little bit taken back. It's like, hang on a minute, like, what's going on here? Like, are you going to look after me here? He went on with a baby blue blazer, and he left the show in a navy blue blazer. He was sweating out, you know.
Bullets.
But then it made me nervous about going on. I thought, you know, it was great that he went back at the Raging Bull. Like a lot of people would have backed down in that
100%,
situation.
yeah.
And I, in this situation, look, Gordy's obviously got a relationship with Kevy, and I see it spilling over the years. It wasn't too happy about Kevy losing his job. So anything that happens,
the way he lost it as well.
everything that's happening around Brisbane, he's very, he's going to have an opinion and a strong opinion, and especially around the Reynolds situation. I'm with you. Look, if Madge would have known whether to let him fly or not, it's no big deal to me. But to be there and see it go down, I was dead set shitting myself.
Mate, it's. I will say with the look, I respect his loyalty to Kevin. Like I can admire that. I just think he's actually not doing like there's still this connection to how it all happened. I actually don't think it helps Kevy. Or you know what I mean? Like I think his loyalty has been proven. Everyone knows exactly where Gordon Tallis stands.
Yeah.
It's in Kevy's corner. And I respect that. But I just... Then he went down the route. I've got to say, this is what the first point I didn't agree with. The second point I didn't really like. Discounting Reynolds' role in them winning a premiership. I thought that crossed the line.
Yeah.
I just think that what the hell has Reynolds done wrong?
It's classic behaviour, though.
Oh.
Like I was saying to Ren before, whether it's in footy teams or at school, and I loved a back and forth. I loved a bit of banter, but there was always a couple guys where you could go back and forth, back, and then the moment they got caught, hands up, they wanted to throw hands.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's exactly what happened to Gordy.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate that some of those comments come off the back of frustration, but the moment Badel told him about how he sat out for a year, you saw the tune change. And he was just at no holds barred. He was just saying whatever he needed to say to get out of it.
The steam coming out of his ears.
It was.
Like, it was
I agree with
moments.
you, Kemby, but like over the years, and especially since we've been working together, obviously we talk about the Broncos a bit. Gordy's an OG. He's a legend. And what he done on the field, like you would want every player to try and emulate that in terms of
100%.
leadership and love for the jersey. But more often than not, it's always presented in a negative way towards the Broncos. And it's just like, I feel like there's a more constructive way for Gordy to try and have an impact on the Broncos team. But I do think it was a throwaway comment. Badel put the heat on. He got caught. And then he said a few things that he probably would have liked to have taken back.
I like questioning Reynolds'
I don't like
leadership.
that.
Mate, he's been he took us from a spoon. And I'll be the first one to say, if you want to talk about how him and Walsh gelled when he was in the final series, I do think that Walsh was better when he wasn't on the field. But that doesn't mean he didn't get them to the grand final. Like, his kick literally got them to the grand final. Yeah. Also, during the year, like, there's so many more things that go to getting into a grand final than just the game before it or even 2 games before it. Reynolds is he is the key piece to the puzzle that when he arrived to the club, we started from we had guys like, and granted they were young, but Payne Haas and Paddy Carrigan, Jordan Ricky as well, were all at the club when we won the spoon. We stopped winning the spoon when Reynolds arrived. So you can't question his leadership. And at times, I disagree with Reynolds' leadership sometimes. Even like on Monday, I was talking about how sometimes I wish he would be a bit more vocal and aggressive in the boys' face.
I think he's
but
on the back end of that now, bro.
Yeah.
I think he's quite chilled. He's got a few things going on off the field. He's a little bit older. I reckon Gordy would be getting frustrated with a Reynolds who does continually get all these soft tissue injuries and injured all the time. But I think he needs to understand, like, Reynolds has had a pretty significant impact.
I think you're spot on with what you said. He backed him into a corner and he went into that schoolboy mentality. And I dare say he'd regret it today. And I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out and apologises in the next couple of days.
I don't think the initial one, you can have your opinion on that. And I think Gordy can have his opinion on that because we'll just never know. Just the Reno comments, I was like, how could you possibly question whether he's a leader? He's won 2 premierships.
Yep.
He's been to 4 grand finals. 4.
And bro, it's a rib cartilage.
Yeah, like they don't heal.
There's no rehabbing.
Yeah, there's no
It's like,
rehabbing.
it is what it is.
On top of that as well, he, like, respectfully to the Rabbitohs, since he's left, they have been a basket case. Respectfully, Matty. But it's just true. What are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, well, I'm mates with both of them. I'm mates with Gordy, and Reno was my, when I debuted, Reno was my captain. So I'm sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place at the moment. But I do think, I actually listened to Gordy speak on radio this morning about it, and he spoke about how it was a sort of a throwaway comment originally, and I feel like this week it has been built up to a point where it's gotten way bigger than it has been.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, 3 episodes of 360 this week. I think they've spoken about it on every episode. I feel like this week it's sort of been more so for content than it's been for what it was. My thing is, like, with Reno, for example, like, Reno's a professional, and I think if I'm being honest from the outside looking in, Reno probably doesn't come down to Sydney after 2 losses, and, you know, especially after they won the comp, like, he's probably got more leeway there, but he probably doesn't come down if it wasn't for AJ. I think the main reason he come down was the coverage for AJ, and not only for AJ, for Reno's side of it, but also you got to remember Madge probably has leeway too, because AJ debuted under Madge and won a grand final under him. So if there is leeway being done there, but I can understand Gordy's side too. Like, Gordy's old school, yes.
Yeah.
But he's very, very passionate. Like, if someone's passionate, they're going to say it how it is, and he's done that. And I always back Gordy when he stands for what he believes in, and that's fair enough. I completely understand. Like, I've had games before, like, I've grown up with Gordy where I've maybe thought that I was all right, and he's told me you probably didn't. And that's harsh feedback, but you accept for what it is because he's OG
He's an
and
OG
he's been there, he's done that.
Yeah.
Bigger
But-
side, mate.
Yeah, so I understand. I understand. No, I can't pick a side because I just spoke to the Titans board and I just
Fair
yeah.
play to Peter Badel, though.
Yeah,
Fair
well,
play.
that's the other thing
Reminds
too.
me of my debut. I
My
ended up on
biggest-
the papers the next day.
Yeah, I owe Peter Badel one too. I pranked him a few years back. The old man had a few beers one night, and when I was playing at South, and he was annoying me, so I started ringing people. On his phone when he was like sitting there watching telly, and then and then as they'd answer, I'd throw the phone at him, and then he got stuck talking with people. And a few people yada yada.
He didn't answer the phone and say immaterial, did he?
Oh, there was a bit of that. And
I had $1 for every time he said
but
that.
Paul Badel, I saw it pop up and I went, oh, beautiful, journo, this will be good.
Yeah.
Rang Badel and threw it, and Paul Badel was stuck there for about an hour talking to a piss Matty John. So I think I owe Badel one. But biggest crime for me over the course of that coverage was probably Renault's t-shirt. Did anyone see the shirt they put him in was way too tight. Way too tight. He looked that strong in in there. If you can get it up, Matty, and show the boys at some
They
point.
did the same to me last night.
Yeah.
Okay, they're trying to spruce you up a little bit.
Oh, they're like, well,
Are you the sex object on the show?
last year
Are
I
you
could
being
wear a
sex
t-shirt
symbol?
with
Okay.
a blazer, you know, and they were like,
Yeah,
"No,
yeah.
we've changed the rules. You got to put a collared shirt on." And I was
Okay.
like, "For fuck's sake,
Brace
I
won't
would
be
have."
happy if you claim to be a sex object.
I know he's fit, mate. He's in makeup for an hour. And
Brace gone
I was
mainstream,
like,
bro. He's gone so mainstream, bro.
No, but
He's got abs now.
and,
Are they real?
That'll do it to you. You
I remember
remember,
the first time
what
I
that was like.
Yeah, I remember when I got abs when I was
remember
about 14.
another thing I think you got to take into account, and on a serious note, is that Renault needs to think about life after the footy. And if you can get in at Fox, you know, not everyone when they retire has the dream job. So, like, if he could, obviously, he came down. He'd be looking at that avenue. I would be. You take every opportunity you can get, and especially at someone like Fox.
I'm not speaking out of school. Knowing Renault, speak to him a fair bit, but yeah, he is trying to kind of hustle and take his opportunities outside football.
course, you've
Definitely
got to.
not to interfere with what he's doing or his position at the club, but
Mate, there's no way Madge would let him go. I promise you, having heard some of the stories of like how intense Madge is in regards to your schedules and what you can and you can't do, like, bruh, there's
that's
no
good insight,
way.
though.
You can
the
grow a
whole
heart.
South
though.
situation.
You can grow a heart.
Oh, you can grow
Look
a
at
heart.
the Tin Man and Wizard of Oz, man. You can grow a heart. And you
There's
never
hope for
know.
all of us?
Yeah, well, he's probably got a soft spot for his man, 2014 winger, Alex Johnson, you know. He can grow a heart.
I will say, like, Gordy's shock at, like, oh, you guys have taken this comment and ran with it, and now it's a big story. But it's because of a culmination of, let's just say, negative comments for a long period of time about the Broncos. Like, unfortunately, because he is so loyal to Kevy, you know, to a fault, which I can admire and respect, you've become the anti-Broncos comment guy.
Literally.
Among other things. Like, I'm not, would never take anything away from your career or everything you're also doing. But there are certain, like, for example, I'm the guy that follows Broncos through fucking heaven or like, so when something happens at the Broncos, people come to me immediately and pizzle me like, fuck you, Kempy, suck shit. Because I'm the guy that loves the Broncos. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that you kind of get known for. And I just think that, I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit naive for Gordy to be like, oh, I can't believe you're running with that comment. Because it's like there is a history. There is a little bit of a history.
I love, like, I've said it to everyone before. If I was running the NRL, I would run it just like the WWE. I'd have Peter V'landys having a team. Like, I would just love villain
I agree
arcs.
with that.
I love it. I think it makes the game better than it ever is. I think
Absolutely.
the off-field stuff, what we're doing right now, talking about it on the 360 stuff, the off-field stuff, it's almost better than the footy itself.
Yeah.
Mate, I tell you what, if his job is to create drama and excitement and talk,
let him
he's
go.
killing it. He's killing it.
Build the
Because,
game, Campy.
Mate, he's building the game. You know, the game's a winner in all this, you know.
Rugby league's the winner.
Rugby league's a winner in all this. But yeah, love Gordy. I don't know. I disagree with his take in regards to the injury situation, but I can kind of see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
0-2, captain, on TV. I can understand a bit of shock of like, hang on a sec, like 0-2. I can
think
get
the
it.
grand final rematch plays into it as well?
Yeah, I
The
think a
theatrics
little bit.
and
If I'm being honest, I didn't want Renault to play because I reckon he'd be a spot with that injury. Like, I reckon they're coming at him all day. Whereas without him there, you know, there'll still be spots or whatever. But if the injury painkillers wear off at 30 minutes, like they tend to do or
they
whatever, you never know what could happen. But yeah, so that but I can understand where he's coming from. The comments around, you know, him in the grand final and leadership. You cannot question whether Renault's a leader. You can say what style of leadership he is, but
I reckon
mate,
Gordy would be happy to own that comment and just say, like, I probably wasn't the best.
Yeah.
I reckon he would.
I hope he
Because
does.
that's
pretty
not-
rough. Like,
that's
what has
not-
Reno ever done?
Yeah, it's not accurate.
Yeah.
Getting sold like what was the quote was basically like who won the grand final is Reece Walsh or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like wow.
He wasn't even on. No, he wasn't even on when we won the grand final. Like,
Oh, man.
Yeah, that
come
was
on, bro.
Yeah, that was rough. That was rough. And also like ironically, he kicked from the sideline Suncorp Stadium against Penrith
Yes.
to get us in the grand final.
Yeah.
But as I said, the blinkers went on. His eyes went red as soon as Badel hit him with the
We've all
"you
been there.
sat out for a year."
We've all
Mate,
been there.
it was over.
I'm throwing
He didn't know
hands.
what he was saying.
We're all been there.
I'm that gaudy. I'm throwing. If I can't
I can't
beat
believe that was
somebody,
Peter
they-
Badell's debut on 360.
Surely not.
He's been a journo for how many? Like he's been here.
Yes.
He's a 20-year journo, isn't he?
20 years, yeah.
I'll tell you what, great TV. Unbelievable TV. So from purely just to want to watch the world burn and content is the focal point of our whole lives.
Which we love.
Loved it. Thank you, Gordy, the Raging Bull.
We obviously turned it off when I came on, didn't you?
I couldn't
I
cop
only
the
watched
shirt,
the
mate.
highlight clip.
I'm starting to learn now what I do wrong when I'm when I'm doing the ones and twos for you behind there. Maddie's laugh.
Yeah.
How good's Maddie's laugh?
He gets paid for the laugh alone. That's it.
That's outstanding.
If you looked at his contract split, it's got most of the cash is just for the laugh, and there's about $1 an hour for the actual work he does.
It's
We'll have a
quality
chat.
over
We'll have a chat
quantity.
about it. See what you can teach me, Matthew.
Okay, guys. Brought to you by Aspley Mazda. If you're looking for a car, give Lukey a message. They've currently got a big sale going with two X rentals, Mazda 2024 CX-5 G20 Max, 31,500 drive away, and a 2024 CX-3 Pure, 26,500 drive away. Even if you're not interested in that specific car, guys, whatever car you want, give him a message. He can get you the best insight on what's great, what's not good. I bought my car off him. I bought my wife's car off him. We will never go anywhere else. He has been absolutely phenomenal. Okay, the Xerri news. Now, I'm just going to... Okay, so I don't really need to keep everyone up with this. Basically, Xerri situation happens. It's essentially been confirmed that, unless there's more news to come out, that Xerri was just unhappy with being dropped. And that's why there was talks about potential asking for a release. But Ciro publicly has labelled the aspects of the situation disappointing after the centre was dropped from the NRL side. He's quoted, "There's plenty of people in the NRL who have reactions that they regret and probably feel like they could have reacted better. That happens nearly every day in an NRL club, and Bronson might have had one of those moments. Unfortunately for him, though, his reaction was leaked to the media." I guess, like, if you read between the lines there, it's like, who leaked it to the media? Like, was it Bronson Xerri's side?
Cherry side.
It was?
Yep.
Okay, so I think that's the more disappointing part, and I think Seraldo's alluding to that. And I'm okay with the reaction. The dot point at the end is, unfortunately for him, though, his reaction was leaked to the media. So I think he's a pretty clear line there of like, you can have that reaction, don't go to the media.
Yeah, so to give you a bit of background about the Bulldogs and a lot of clubs is that it is a siege mentality, in-house, no one speaks club.
Yeah.
You know, and that's been the fabric, the DNA of the club for a very long time. And a lot of clubs are the same. Just from my experience alone, I haven't spoken to anyone in the inner sector, but people talk, right? Xerri's been upset about playing right centre for a while. I don't know if you remember the back end of last year where he was shifted over to the right. Even when Critter was out, I believe they put Carraz to the left.
Okay.
Now, he's a left arm carry. He's a left centre. And people that are watching this, and you guys can all attest to this, playing left and playing right is different.
Yep.
You know, you're looking at different shapes, different looks. You know, you're protecting a different shoulder. Not everyone's Stephen Crichton, you know, like you can cover both edges. So I know that was getting under his skin about playing on the right edge. He made some really poor reads at the back end of last year. I think him going back to the right again, going into this year, has upset him again. It was confusing for me because of how poor I believe he did play on the right. So it stemmed from last year. This isn't just new.
Okay.
But the fact that Stephen Crichton has now gone to the left to strengthen the left edge is more to make your $850,000 playmaker more accountable because he's known to be very quiet, Burton.
Yeah.
And you've got Kiko who's quite quiet. So you're kind of like moving the team around and putting someone out of position to try and make someone that left edge stronger, which is
Team first decision.
Team first decision. Do you agree with that though?
Yeah.
But do you agree with like putting Critter over to the left to make the person inside him more accountable when you're a...
Based on what you just said, it makes complete sense. And I think it aligns with kind of the Seraldo mentality. If if you're seeing that gap, no doubt he sees it. So he can be a supporting
I think
arm.
also, if I'm outside looking in, I think they looked at last year and go, we struggle to score points. So why not put Critter next to kick out and we'll probably score more points? Now, it hasn't obviously eventuated like that. Is that
Sherry mid-20s?
No,
26, 27. He's not old.
Well, so he got banned. Let's not get down that path, but he had the
25, about 25, 26.
Like, look, he's still young, and that's a hard pill to swallow. If you're not on the side you want to be on, plus you're not playing the best football, the first reaction might be to try and point fingers at different excuses and reasons. And if that all compounds, I can see why he's kind of kicked the bucket a little bit. I don't agree with it.
Kicked the bucket too hard.
Yeah,
Way
I
too
don't
hard.
agree
Way
with it.
too
Exactly.
late.
It's a funny one, but I feel like I kind of, from a manager perspective, you're managing him, this is the play though, because you can't negotiate with anyone else. So if this has happened, he's been forced to another position, this is 100% the play.
But it's the collateral damage. Now your reputational damage is like, what, you're this whinging player who doesn't get his way, doesn't just go team first with a club that's growing, and then this all comes out, and now it's been leaked, and you're a part of it. So, as you said, with some of those clubs, at the Melbourne Storm in particular, if I rocked up and I'd been a part of that, I don't think I would come to training the next day. The shame and guilt. Fuck that.
But I think your point, and I'm probably in the same boat. So
yeah, well, my one is, so the manager can't negotiate, so he's till the end of 27, so he can't negotiate to the end of this year.
And managers use media all the time to send messages to other clubs.
Absolutely. And this is a message to the club. This is making a bit of noise and hoping that you got 5 or 6 clubs, which 100% he would have 5 or 6 clubs, then suddenly already spark some interest in one way or the other. I would say also, though, that playing group, the stuff that's happened the last couple of years with a couple of players, particularly probably Reid Marnie, the way that sort of went down, I wouldn't be surprised if not particularly the player, or maybe, but the manager definitely is probably thinking, shit, it might be our turn here. We better get on the front foot. Because like Gus's job is to run a salary cap, and the Dogs squad this year is at a stage now where you don't have average players in it. You have either world class or really good players.
Yeah.
And every year you're trying to get closer and closer to that top tier salary cap. It'd be very hard to sort of swallow whether, you know, this has been a move to sort of slowly squeeze him out.
Is that a steel fence?
Hey?
Is that a steel fence over there?
What's steel fence?
What about the Gus thing? How does that play into this Gus coming out and rallying for it based on what he did or he didn't know? Is that you know what I mean? His initial kind of comments?
Gus is almost like a KGB agent. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know what. And look, I get why he does it.
I respect
He's
it.
Mossad, he's CIA.
Yeah, mate. He is. You know what? He is the CIA of rugby league. Because I don't know. I'm getting psyoped every day from him. I don't know what's going on. I'm probably saying what he wants me to say right now.
Yeah.
He's like sitting back going, "Yeah, this is exactly what I want to say."
Well, you look, that's the thing. You look for an outcome here. What's the outcome here? So
I just want to, Reni, did you have a bit more to go?
No, look, there's not much more than, like, I'm uncomfortable that you need to bring, essentially weaken the team on one edge to guide an Origin and international player on your left edge that's on big money. That's the uncomfortable thing for me. I'm thinking, like,
So you're not you don't agree with the change. You think Xerri should be back on that
he
side?
should be back on the left because in the strength, he's not a right centre. I don't agree with anything he did.
Yeah, of course.
Team
I don't
first
think anyone would.
mentality,
Yeah, of course.
going to the media. I just don't agree with the whole move of changing the edges to accommodate someone that's an international, that's an Origin player.
Tomorrow it's going to be Reni wants out of Bloke Studio, the Bloke team. Leaked
But
by Reni.
strategically, how much?
Do not reel this.
How much truth is there to the actual in-house strategy around Kikau, Burton all being quiet? Because Xerri ain't going to be talking. He's not a player that's going to be loud on the field. So, if what you said is a legitimate talking point in-house, then it does actually make sense.
Yeah.
But
That's a good point, Sandor.
I wouldn't be.
That might be the first one you've ever made. If I
Thank you. I wouldn't be.
That just goes into the whole Galvin and Burton and in the halves argument as well. It's like, well, you're not a half. You're not a 5'8".
Yeah, if you're on 850K, there shouldn't be a problem about you being
shouldn't
vocal.
have to, like,
Or you're
create-
killing it and you can afford to not be vocal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tend to think, I reckon the manager's gone, okay, if he sits back in reserve grade for the rest of the year, his value is like worth, what do you reckon? If he sits in reserve grade, he can't, and just say he goes back and plays average, What do you reckon? 400, 300 on the open market with the current salary cap? 300 or 400?
It shouldn't change that much,
but it
the
would
nature of the New South Wales comp and the reserve grade, the way it goes up and down, and your squad every week is changed by 7 or 8 blokes.
Yeah.
You don't know what it could end up.
And you'd be shocked at how influenced clubs are by media narratives and hype. They get caught up in the news cycle. So what I reckon's happened, because it wouldn't have been Xerri that went to. It would have been maybe Xerri spoke to his manager, and then 100%. His manager went and spoke to someone. Now, Dean Ritchie, I think he came out and said that Xerri was aware that this story was going to come out. So what it says to me is the managers looked at the tea leaves and gone, okay, right now, if I'm just looking at it purely from a business perspective, I don't care about the Dogs. All I care about is my client and all the impact it's going to have. I can create a bunch of tell me the last time, we won't go back into the negative stuff. When was the last time Xerri was the headline across the NRL?
Yeah.
And so right now, he is the number one headline. He is the number one talked about. All these different clubs, we could use him, you could use him. Whereas, if he's in reserve grade, there's nowhere near that chatter around, we could use a guy. So I reckon his managers read the tea leaves, seeing probably, I think a really interesting part of all this was the no extension is going to be offered. And then Serraldo coming out and saying, I haven't heard that. To my knowledge, I aren't aware of that. Now, it's super early. If he has already been told no extension will be offered to him, that would suggest to me it's the Bulldogs that are trying to push him out. To tell a player right now that you are getting no extension going forward, you're basically saying, can you please leave as soon as possible? Instead of waiting for the year. I don't believe that's happened, though. I don't think that's happened. But I think that his managers probably looked at it and gone, the Marnie situation, the Sexton situation, he's read the tea leaves and gone, you know what? I'm going to get a bit of control of the narrative here and get out.
He's trying to force their hand to try and get him back on the left. Maybe that's a possibility. And then he's just gone tits up.
See, I reckon
hate when the managers have this sort of impact.
See, I reckon Serraldo, look, he said, this happens, everything like that. I reckon if I'm a head coach and a player that already, if I was going to move Burton to the centres, would be probably the first player I would move to either the wing or drop, I would be like, mate, I'm pretty much done with you. If I was a head coach and this much drama got kicked up over you playing on the other side, I'll be honest, yes, was I way nervous on certain things when I got swapped sides, but I never whinged about it. I was just for example, as a winger, when I was put on the right wing, I would be a bit nervous about defence because that left shoulder is not as strong. So if I come in hard and try and not hit someone, but you know what I mean, make a stronger tackle, it's not going to be as strong. On top of that, when I scoot, I don't left-hand carry, so my scoot's not as good. I'm trying to get away from the defender. But on the right side, it's the opposite. When I make a break, I don't left-hand carry, so I can't fence. So there are certain things that you can not like and dislike. But I never once, if I was in first grade and Wayne was I in my 2008 year, I swapped sides multiple times. I didn't even blink an eye.
No. Yeah, but Kempy, if you got pushed to the other side and then you got dropped, you would be off it. You'd raise it.
Honestly, no, I honestly wouldn't. And maybe it's because I just didn't grow up playing footy, so I didn't have a specific. I didn't have a favourite side because I just probably didn't grow up playing it. I just think that if you're willing to do all this because you got dropped and put to a side, you are not team first.
No, that is true.
Can I raise a point too? But if it happened before round one, would there be this much noise? The fact that they won round one in Vegas.
Yep.
Right.
Do you think that sort of made it
Probably
also?
Not. Yeah.
Because they've had 2 weeks. They just had a bye, right? So they've just had 2 weeks of prep. So he's probably sitting there going, "What the hell have I done at training?"
Reportedly, he was already close to not making the round one side.
See. Now, if I'm him, I'm sitting there going, who's saying that?
Yeah.
Now, you give journos credit. They're pretty
We're
good
so
at their
deep.
jobs.
Gus Gould's got us fucking...
He's got us.
We are 10 levels deep. You know the Iceberg YouTube channels about the conspiracy when they go deep on it? We're down to the fucking bottom of the iceberg right now.
So if that come out, obviously he's played the first card coming to the media. So then if someone's played the next card, that's kind of on him. But if that's come out before this situation and that's happened throughout this bye week, that's when
I don't know if it came out before. I just know that journalists were aware before round one that he was close to not making the side.
So that's
how
interesting.
How did they find out about that? Look, it's all I can say is
it goes both ways. Yeah.
I will say though is going to the media and basically saying I'm going to ask for release if things aren't sorted or whatever. I just think that you've played your card of long-term future at the club because that's saying it's not team first.
No.
Especially for a club that now is saying we are team first no matter what going forward. We're here to win premierships. It's team first all the time. But as I said, Gus Gould, he's got us in a chokehold. He's got us in an absolute chokehold.
Stranglehold, Ted Nugent.
Okay, boys. Manly Seagulls. Seibold. Seibold out. Now, I did find it super interesting that pressure is obviously mounting on Anthony Seibold. And then within like 24 hours of the loss, or maybe 48 hours, there were already articles about a crisis meeting where the players took responsibility for their loss on the weekend. And also all these articles about why Seibold shouldn't be out, sacked or whatever. Players need to take responsibility. I find that very intriguing. How the hell did the journo know, A, there was a crisis meeting, but B, why put out that the players took responsibility unless you're trying to set up a narrative of like, it's not Seibold's fault, he needs more time. So I wanted to get your thoughts, guys. I personally think Seibold time at Manly Seagulls done. I'm quite surprised a coach with his record has been given this much time. Now, he's made a prelim once. He's made a final series. So he's made 2 final series, I think, in his entire tenure. And he's been a head coach for about 8 years now. I think that some of his coaching decisions, leaving Jake Trbojevic out there for 66 minutes or whatever, and Jake Trbojevic running for 23 metres, whether you, like, doesn't matter how you slice it, in my opinion, that's weak coaching. Whether it's like, oh, he's a legend, so we've got to keep him out there, I think that's poor coaching. Or you truly believe that he should be out there for 60 minutes in his current, where he's at right now, Jakey. And we all love Jakey. Like, we don't need to say that. Incredible player.
Yeah.
But he's at the back end of his career.
Yeah.
I just think that even like little things, like you can see whenever they do the press conference, like the body language, on top of all that, like making Tommy Turbo captain. The weird thing about that for me is initially I thought that was done because they were basically, writing was on the wall, Jake Trbojevic is going to be sitting on the bench for most of the game. So we need a captain out there. But like Jake Trbojevic being captain, Tommy being captain whilst Jake is out there for 60 minutes makes absolutely no sense. Do you reckon Tommy Turbo sees his older brother as not the leader? Of course he sees him as a leader.
100%.
As his older brother. He's
Yeah.
done way more in the game than Tommy has. Like, Tommy had the great years or whatever, but Jake Trbojevic has done way more in Origin, played for more games or whatever. So you've got this weird dynamic where even, I can't speak for Tommy Trbojevic, but I reckon even he would be disappointed Jake Trbojevic didn't get the captaincy. Like, that's his older brother. Like, in what world?
Weird conversation.
Yeah, in what world is that power dynamic not weird for Tommy Turbo? Like, I don't.
It'd actually be uncomfortable for him. I would have no idea how that would have gone down. And Jakey being Jakey would have been no drama, no problems.
Of course.
But even for Tom, I feel like it's actually almost more uncomfortable for Tom to take
Way
the captaincy than Jakey losing it.
I'd get it. I'd get it if Jakey was on the bench. That's how you can sell it to Tommy Turbo. Mate, he's going to be on the bench a bit because that's how I want to use him this year. We need someone on the field. But he's not on the bench. He's playing 60-minute games. Boys, thoughts on Seibold? Is he in? Is he out? Would you give him more time? Thoughts?
I'll say out. He came out last year and said he wanted to move into more of a general manager role.
Oh, my God.
So, right, there's a writing on the wall right there. So he didn't have a long-term plan as a coach anyway, correct?
Mate.
That's nearly as good as Dragons.
He did say that, right?
Yeah, he basically, that was the report. The report was that he wanted to move into management, and it's just like...
Cracker comment from the
Okay,
coach.
so that's just...
He also said we're all going to die.
Which is true.
It is true, technically. We are all going to die. But basically, guys, why are you getting so stressed? We're all going to die. Thanks for that insight. Didn't know that. Next time I'm struggling emotionally, I was going, yeah, we're going to die anyway. Who gives a shit?
I struggle to get around the coaching merry-go-round where a coach has a level of experience and goes club without any success.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I don't see the system. I don't see the relationship with the players. I don't see the culture building. I just don't know if he's best suited to being a head coach.
You got a bloke in England that's just won everything as well.
Yeah. You got Willie Peters. You've got a club legend. I'd say, or at least a really well-known club player in Matty Ballin, who's been a part of the Broncos system for quite a while.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah,
You're going to do it now.
And people go, oh, it's only been 2 games. It's been 2 games at home, and the first game, I don't want to take everything away from their performance, but they had the ball for 11 minutes in the first half. That should have been over, game over. By the 60th minute, it was game over in the reverse. And yeah, they came back a little bit, but like to do that against a Raiders side that lost Papali'i, that also had a rookie number 7, that on top of all that, the field goal that Sanders kicked, he was up flat and there was no kick pressure. Tell me how that happens.
Jakey's headgear was too heavy. He couldn't get there.
He was falling towards his headgear.
But for the punter that sees this and goes, oh, you can't blame the coach. You can't. Fair point. And the players taking responsibility is true. But when you have a coach who hasn't had success, who's potentially lost the playing group, who's surrounded by negativity, who's saying that I want to be a general manager and not a coach, you got to understand that impacts the culture, the energy, the behavior at training, and it all compounds. And then, as you guys said, 2 rounds in, 2 home games lost. What's going to be the magic thing that just turns it around in round 6, round 7? It's not going to happen.
They just didn't just lose because they played a really good side. They lost their effort on the weekend for a Manly side was like diabolical stuff. And it isn't just 2 games; it's fucking 3 years. What are we talking about here?
Exactly.
What do you think, mate?
Well, I think the buyers come at a really good time. I think they definitely got to regroup and get a few things sorted. But I think it's too early in the season. I think don't forget the Super League season is going at the moment to negotiate with another coach is not the perfect timing. And
interim coach.
I don't know who's there at the moment as interim.
Oh, mate, honestly,
but I think it's gonna be more disruptive to sack now. I think the best thing for a coach and.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
What evidence do you have that Seibold can turn a club around?
Well, last year how'd they go last year?
Well, they made the finals once and then they went like 9th and then 11th, I think. Matty, could you just check that, please?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot's going to be said after the bye. I think the bye will say a lot. They get a chance to recoup. I think they're back Thursday night. They play against the Roosters, so they got a chance there. They get 2 weeks of prep there. I think the first game back's going to say a lot.
Do you think that playing group, and I'll open this up, do you think that playing group likes playing on Anthony Seibold?
I don't know. To be honest, like I know a fair few of the players. I'm obviously not in the footy world as much anymore. I've had Siebes as an assistant myself.
Yeah.
I've had him as a head coach before Wayne took over at South, and I've had him as an assistant at Newcastle, and he clearly knows his stuff. Like he's done,
definitely. I mean, there's no denying that he knows his footy.
Knows his stuff. The players, though, I can't speak for the players.
Yeah,
And to throw that back here, what was the contrast between when he was a head coach and assistant? Because you know that they're very different, and the coaches show up very differently.
Well, the funny thing with that is, I actually had him as a head coach first. So I had him as for the first half of pre-season at South Sydney before Wayne took over, and then I had him as a full assistant at Newcastle in 2021. And the big one is like, especially when he came, I knew as a head coach what I was sort of looking at. It's like, that you have that Melbourne system and those processes that are in place, and very similar to when I was with Adam at Newcastle as well. Like those Melbourne principles, you can see them throughout the whole session, and particularly the pre-season. I do see that when I did really see it turn on when he became an assistant coach. So he really took the reins, and it probably made me surprised by how much impact an assistant coach must have compared to a head coach. I feel like as a head coach, you're much more of a managerial person, which I sort of understood with Wayne. Like I saw a lot of that because I was quite young at that stage. But when I went to Newey and saw Siebes go as an assistant, I realised the difference between what an assistant and a head coach is.
Yeah.
And he's very, very good tactically, like very good, and across it very well. Very, very good at educational. I think only time's going to really tell after this bye round.
Yeah. See, I think he's a great assistant coach, and I think that he, in regards to theory of the game, I think he's top tier.
It's pretty well known that he's a real student. Like he goes over to the NFL.
It's just the man management side. I don't think he's ever nailed.
That additional responsibility that can bring certain people undone, and if it's not for you, then it's not a problem.
I just think that team, the evidence I've seen over the last few years, doesn't seem like a team that's playing for Seibold. They don't play like a Seibold side.
Do you think their current squad is a top 8 side?
No, I don't. I don't. But I think that when you look at all the drama and I personally don't think. I think there are key players in that playing group that don't necessarily jive with Seibold's coaching methods. I reckon they're a senior. I think you can see it.
Personally, too, I do think the noise around Jake, and it's kind of been happening a lot this week. The noise around Jake, I think it is pretty unfair. Okay. I feel like people are, almost trying to force his hand into retiring. Like, I think people forget quick. Like when you lose a senior player, like these tight losses like they had in round 1, and then obviously a bigger loss in round 2, but it wasn't detrimental. It was a lot of points, but they also scored some points themselves. Yep. I do feel like people forget really quickly. Once you take that senior player out of the squad, not just the 17 every week, but the squad, you start seeing a team start leaking 50-0 a game and stuff like that.
It's why Matt selected him in Origin. And I think his value as a squad member is like almost infinite in regards to what he can bring. I just don't understand why he's playing 13 for 66 minutes. Why not have him in the middle for the first 20? Mate, Jake, I need you to fucking go as hard as you can, do all the tough stuff, and then still have your leadership. We take you off. We see how the game goes. Obviously, you don't want to use two, interchanges, but we'll see how the game goes. But if just reduce his minutes, but keep him around the playing group.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think he should retire at this stage. I just want to see him with less minutes.
Because he's not missing his assignments. He's just not as effective after 50 minutes or so.
not having the
You
same
know, and
impact.
you've got these like the Bullymore and those kids that are
Hetherington.
you know, I think he will make a change eventually,
No.
but just reduce his minutes because his leadership value and what he brings to that team, especially off the back of what Jack said, you'll see more cracks in the side by removing him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
100%.
So this is Seibold's tenure at the Seagulls. 12th, 7th, 10th. 12th, 7th, 10th.
52% win rate.
That's me
It
over
is.
here.
Got him.
Oh, man. I didn't know you were good with numbers being 5 minutes late. I thought you were, bad.
I actually
Got
do
him.
think too that I do think just quickly. Sorry, Kevin, go back. I actually do think that I know they had Kobe Hetherington there, who's new to the club, but I'd say Jakey's around 2 minutes. A lot of it would have come because Takiaho was out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I think if you look though, I think Bullymore and Thingo still had quite a little amount of minutes. Anyway, either way, I think they should reduce his minutes. I think 66 minutes. He played 3 less minutes, I think, than Cam Murray. It's like, what? Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is he gone or is he staying?
I personally, I would make the call. I don't know what evidence we have that suggests that he could turn a playing group around.
Yep.
And if it looked like the playing group was playing for him, I'd be like, okay, give him a bit more time. But I just don't think the playing group are.
fair
I don't like that play where Garrick made the break and no one was there for the play of the
ran
ball.
back to his wing.
Just like no one was even like there to die for it. So
Did you hear the creepy little laugh over there?
Yeah, I know. That one was a bit like that one was more intense, so I've got to
Yeah.
learn that one as well.
that's a serial killer one. Which
Yeah,
gets a bit weird.
I got that vibe. Very Jack the Ripper like. Nice, mate.
So yeah, I just think that look, maybe Super League he could go back and this is coming from a guy that was like give Seibold a chance at Manly. Like I know it didn't work at the Broncos, but it is what it is. It's a tough gig as we can see right now. Madge won a premiership. He's under the pump. But I don't know. I don't think that playing group's playing for him. I think that they just don't gel. I think if there is a weakness in Seibold's coaching style, it is his man management. I think he struggled to get the Broncos players on side. I think he's struggling at the moment with the seniors at Manly. I think he's a really good assistant coach. I think his theory of the game is up there with some of the best, at least from what I've been told from people that have been under him. I just think he's I know I harp on it, but anyway, his man management I just think needs improvement. Okay, Stefano on the Broncos, boys. He said, this is what he said last year. There's going a lot of people I want to run at. There's a lot of people I don't like in this team. I'm keen to go out there and run someone over. I don't want to name names, but yeah, there's a lot of people I think are a bit stuck up, and I'm pretty keen just to run at and do a job for a team. And this week he said, it is what it is. They won the game, but you've got to put your balls on the line. Say it before the game. Don't say it after.
I like that chat.
I don't mind it.
I like that chat.
I mean,
I actually think that comment, the first comment that he made last year, and obviously what played out, I think it was a defining moment for him. And I think it's been expressed in the way he's playing at the start of the year. He is an animal. He's doing some crazy shit.
we always say we want players to
Of course.
express themselves.
I'm all for it.
It's like he just said they're a bit stuck up. Who cares?
And I like that comment. I don't know if he's thought about it, but come out on the front foot and flip the narrative, reframe it. I'm willing to say it, put
Yep.
it out there before the game. You can't knock someone for doing that.
Yeah.
I think the first one come off a little bit arrogant.
Yeah.
This one is well timed and perfectly articulated.
I love it. Rennie, what do you reckon, mate?
That was very Michael Jordan. Didn't he say that?
Oh, I'm not sure.
In the... what was
Doco?
that?
Well, he
In
would
the
do all
doco.
sorts of shit, bro. He
He'd
made
say-
up something about another player and said that he
Yeah, no,
said-
but he said
like he's next level.
don't talk shit when you're 30 points up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talk shit
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it's 0-0.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's where Stefano's got it from. Look, I love it.
Bit
You
of
know?
last
I don't
dance.
know how Bellyache would take it. How would have Bellyache taken this comment?
I think the first one just did not come off well, in my opinion, and then it didn't age well either. But this one, I don't mind it.
And he got MC battled by Reece Walsh, who said he's stuck, we're up. Damn, Eminem Walsh.
Yeah, Kempy's a rap fan, not a Pearl Jam fan.
Yeah, not a
So,
Pearl Jam
okay.
guy, yeah,
yeah,
hip hop guy.
Lord of the Rings on the weekend, but
Yeah.
Eminem and
I'm a multifaceted guy,
Yeah.
like an onion, a lot of layers to me, you know?
I think I got a feeling someone might have maybe given him that.
Okay.
The thing when it came out last year, I thought it was that funny when it happened. I reckon Frank Panisi or whoever the media manager is at the Storm probably sat there and went, all right, sweet, beautiful. We've got media up for grand final week. what player have we got here that's probably going to say nothing to ruffle the feathers? And I reckon they picked him, and then he just went out there and said it. I think it's a bit more tactical this time. So
a little bit of script.
Yeah, I'm going with the ChatGPT option, I think.
Okay, so your Stefano's on the Google.
Yeah, I can see the double hyphen,
which I respect it because I'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the way he's gone about it.
Yeah.
It's almost a little bit too clever for my liking.
Oh, okay. Okay, so someone's writing his rhymes, you reckon? Ghostwriter allegations.
Might not be a person. Could be AI.
Okay. This is brought to you by KO, guys. Watch every game live and ad break free. Eels forward pack. So another thing I want to talk about. Back to the Xerri thing, and we won't go too long on it. But like, for example, Shibasaki got dropped this week. Like, he didn't ask for a release. I'll tell you that much. You know, and I know it's been brewing a little bit with Xerri, but
yeah, that's the caveat.
I still think he played for Australia last year. He played for Queensland, and he's on an absolute minimum contract.
Mate, it is a hard pill to swallow, especially when you're coming off success. To get dropped in the first few rounds,
especially when Ezri inside you defensively was just as bad.
I say that from experience. Actually, the Penrith, when I come into first grade, Penrith had a cracker year, and then first few rounds in got dropped. I was like, fuck, it's put just everything that was going on, it just sent me right back down to earth.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, it was a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Like for Shibasaki, that would suck. I know he hasn't been playing his best footy, but
okay, Eels forward pack, boys. Jack DeBellin dropped to 18th man, unlikely to play versus Dragons despite starting first 2 games. I actually think
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it.
I think that's the right
playing
call.
the Dragons.
Bro, he's been pretty poor first 2 games, Jack DeBellin.
Yeah, but you don't think it's enough that game just to like, is that the game where you go, all right, this is the one?
Yeah, okay.
Against the Dragons?
Do you think that they're trying to maybe deflect some headlines away maybe?
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe he's at 18th man, but he comes and starts. Like he's on the bench or something.
I think that's more likely.
Yeah, okay. Because I do understand him being demoted from the starting 13. Full side, I actually still can kind of get around. But I reckon maybe it's to get away from the headlines heading into the game. What do you reckon, Reni?
Makes sense.
I'm not too sure. So who's Hopgood come back in? So
Yep.
So he's gone from starting the first 2 games to completely out of the side.
Yes. Now, Hopgood returns. That means Jack Williams will go to lock.
I just think Rollsy's picking his best team. I don't think it's like, I'm not looking too deep into it.
And these young guys who he's investing in who are very team first, action driven, who are just grinding, playing to the system.
Well, Tuivasa and Doria have been
exactly
great.
right.
Have been great.
So,
all right,
geez.
let me go down conspiracy alley again.
Okay.
All right, I've become that guy.
All right.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's back round 4.
Okay.
Did you remember how emotional he was about leaving the Dragons? I wouldn't be surprised if Rollsy and him have just come to a gentleman's agreement and said, what, maybe not this week.
Yeah, okay.
I would not be surprised if he's back round 4.
Because there's a lot.
Because Hopgood's a great player too.
Yeah,
let's not downplay that. He's an Origin forward.
So you're saying his emotion might get the better of him this week, give away too many penalties?
Not that sort of side. I actually think it might hurt Jack a bit personally to actually play against the Dragons.
Ooh,
hurt him?
It might
he did want to stay.
I think there's just a few people in that group that might be happy to be playing, and a few people that might be happy not to play. It might just suit the team this week as a holistic approach.
Oh, you're a holistic guy.
I'm a bit of a holistic guy,
okay.
you know what I mean?
That's immaterial.
yeah, it's very
Badel.
fancy.
Badel, very immaterial.
Simple
Very
hat.
fancy.
Thank you, Sandor.
Very fancy. Just wanted to throw that on there. It was
Oh, okay.
It was
the
a conspiracy, but-
No, that's fair play. Fair play. It is a Maroons cap, just so you're aware.
Get that off.
Look a bit tougher now, a bit of a ticker about you.
bit of Gordon Tallis about me.
Leave him alone, mate.
Yeah. Jeez. Making a mountain out of a molehill.
Never heard him
mate.
talk about the Titans like that, have you, Kempy? Jeez.
What, Titans?
Maybe 18 months ago.
Okay. I do think Tuivasa and Doria have been outstanding.
Agreed.
Okay. Dally M. So Andrew Voss, the Vossinator, has gone absolutely ballistic, he's got into it, put it this way. He has highlighted, so basically Vossi went off on SEN about the Dally M system, and we've talked about this for quite a while, the concerns with the Dally M system. He highlighted AJ getting 2 points in the South Roosters game, and he highlighted Dylan Brown getting 4 points in the night game, as well as Tyson Frizzell. And also Ola Kawatu got 2 points as well in that game, and it's just like, what?
What?
I'm with Vossi here, you know, and I back up his points about there's no crack at any of the players, but some of the votes that get done for look, I don't know for sure, but if I was a betting man, I would be betting that these people aren't watching the game. Like, Dylan Brown played half a game of rugby league. You're telling me in that great win, he was better than like a Bradman Best or whatever. I mean, I would have given it to Kalen Ponga before I would go to Brown.
Sure.
And he was on there for 20 minutes.
Good
like,
point.
Who's on these panels these days?
It's anonymous.
Anonymous.
That's the first issue, I reckon.
Yeah.
Why make it, like, why not take responsibility for
Make
a pick?
them accountable.
Yeah.
And also, just pay him like a little bit. Like, if you said to some ex-player, we'll give you, I don't know, a couple grand a week or whatever to watch the game and put your vote in. Like, at the end of the year, it might cost you a couple $100,000. We're not talking about a willy-nilly nothing prize. We're talking about the fucking
daily
main
end
prize.
prize, yeah.
Like, it is history for the rest of your life that you will be known as the Dally M winner, and we can't spend a little bit of money to make sure it's done correctly. Like, let's say we spent $400,000 on a year as a game. Okay, instead of the revenue being $56,400,000, it'll be $56 million. You know what I mean? Like, it is the jewel of our game. I think that the award deserves more respect than a willy-nilly person putting in votes that I don't think they've watched the game. If you're giving it to someone that played half a game of footy and they had one good run, like they did other good stuff, Dylan Brown, but he had one good one with a flick pass.
Yep.
Like, it's discounting all the other guys that played mad. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's got to change. Do the Dally M system need to change, boys?
Absolutely. Based off that,
Happens all the time, bro.
I would have gave Kalen 4 points for sure.
Like
What he
over
did
Brown.
It's got a bit of NRL.com highlights about it.
Yeah, or looking at the fantasy points.
Yeah, Fox Mini.
true.
Fox Minis.
Yeah, the Fox Minis. Mate, I just can't believe it.
I don't hate the system. I hate the fact that they're anonymous. Like, that's how one of the Knights starting middles, Matt Croker, Jacob Saifidi, Trey Mooney, how one of them didn't get a point.
Yeah.
Like, Jacob Saifidi might have played one of his best games.
Yeah.
With you. Yep.
Agree.
And like
Trey
some of his
Mooney,
efforts.
outstanding.
Outstanding as well.
Trey Mooney had 5
Yes.
offloads.
Yeah.
5 offloads.
Yeah, I don't know how one of them didn't get a single point. That's ridiculous.
You know what I mean? Like, what are we watching here? Like, and it happens all the time, bro. Like, the amount of time. Like, think about how many players have missed out on a Dally M recently, and how do we know it isn't because they got dudded in one game where the guy wasn't watching and they just looked at the fantasy points and said, "Yeah, I'll choose." I just don't get it. And also,
Is this a conspiracy theory? I feel like it is.
it's an allegation more. I don't think it's conspiracy. I think that it's pretty fucking clear
Are
that
you
they
on
don't
the
watch the
panel?
games.
You could be on the panel.
I don't have the time. But I will say, if you pay me, I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
Are they getting paid, you reckon?
I doubt it. Probably peanuts. Mate, spend a bit of money. Make it a serious
Yeah, you're
award
right.
that we
It deserves
know.
it. Absolutely.
We know that it's got the proper resources, and the person that deserves to win wins the award. Like, I just
Agreed.
Like, for example, the fact that Nathan Cleary still hasn't won a Dally M. The fact that Lockyer never won a Dally M. Freddie Fittler never won a Dally M, did he? Like, what?
No, he didn't.
Like, come on now. Silly stuff. I haven't gone deep into it. I wouldn't mind a system where it was like, and this would cost probably too much, but every game, every player that plays gets a rating out of 10, and then you do it off that, because that way you get more rewarded for being solid throughout the year. Whereas I don't really know if consistency is rewarded. Like, you've either got to be the best player on the park. Like, for example, the 4th best player or the 5th best player on the park gets the same points as the worst player on the park. And so you don't actually get rewarded as much for consistency, even though, like, you take nothing away from KP. It was 10 good games. SJ that year was a whole season of good games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we're willing to bring in
It's flawed.
7 different rules a year, surely we can have a look at the Daily
yeah.
M.
Yeah, surely. Far
We've
out.
got to look at it.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's the
Deserves
jewel
better.
of our game.
Deserves better, especially with how much money we make. Like, I don't understand why we don't have a more robust, resourced system. Okay, let's get into some big news. Adam Reynolds ruled out. Moser will come onto the bench, reportedly at least. Has that been confirmed, or is it 18th, 19th man?
Yeah, it's not confirmed,
But there's reports he will. Okay. I like that. The whole Moser situation, how strange has it been? He is such a good young gun. There's been no noise about him wanting to leave, which is good. But I tell you what, if he sits in Resi's for long enough, he's going to be like, mate, I'm out of here. Like, what's going on? I would love to see him. I do think we actually lacked a genuine crafty 9 around the ruck. Benny Hunt, really good 9, but he's not necessarily like... If he had time and he was young enough to like play 9 week in, week out, I think it could work, because I think he's a gun 9. We've seen obviously in Origin. But he's a bit older now. It's essentially his last year.
Yeah.
And then you've got Corey Pakes, who was a half that was made into a 9. Unfortunately, I don't think he's been that great this year. I think that, look, this week might be the wrong game to start Moser at 9, but I do think that there's a question to be had about, maybe towards round 5, 6, or 7 if we're still struggling to bring him in at
6,
starting
7.
9.
I did see a photo recently where the one that I think you might have put it up, Campy, where the Cam Smith was coaching players, and I saw Mosier was there.
I just seen. I've only put a picture of him, the Broncos kid. I haven't seen him coaching Moser though.
No, he's in a photo. So Cam Smith is running a session, and in the background, Moser was there. So
that's rugby.
Who knows? Shandor,
Okay.
Cameron Smith touch.
Just look at Harry Grant. If you need an example or a case study to just hang in there.
Bro, how good was Harry Grant last week? What are we talking about, boys? Fucking
And
hell.
like if there's ever an example of someone doing their tenure, and I know it's underneath the GOAT.
Yeah.
But still.
But he was patient as fuck.
Mate.
He was so patient, and it paid off. Okay, let's get to the preview, boys. This is a round 3 preview brought to you by MberX. Also brought to you by Code Sports, guys. Go to codesports.com.au, use the code BLOKE, get your discount. And give us a follow on the feed as well, the Sportsbet feed, guys. Got a bunch of multis on there at the moment. A massive thank you, as always, to Sportsbet. It takes 2 seconds. You just hit the follow, and you'll be able to copy all the multis. I do probably 10 multis a week. Just a bit of fun. Obviously, only bet what you can afford, guys. Don't be silly. Just little bets here or there. Okay, round 3 preview and tips. The Raiders v. the Doggies. Now, I actually don't think the Raiders were, for 60 minutes, I actually thought they were really good last week.
I agree.
Their discipline in the back end is what hurt them. And also, I just think the Warriors were unbelievable. The Doggies, I am so intrigued to see how they come out and react to this. They've dealt with this kind of news for quite a while. But I'm really interested to see how they react. What do you reckon, Dor? What are we thinking about this game?
I agree with you. And also, travelling to New Zealand in the rain, I just don't think it's a true reflection of where the Raiders are at. I'm actually going to tip the Raiders at home here.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
I think it's going to be a good game, though. But, yeah, I'm gonna give this one to the Raiders.
Okay, Reni, what are you thinking?
If you're if you're around the Guildford Hotel tonight, come on. I'll be down there with Josh Mansell watching the game. But look, I think the Dogs have had too much of a break, and Canberra are a lot more battle hardened at the moment.
Okay.
So I'm going to tip the Raiders as well. I think, as you said, it's not a true reflection of where they were last week against the Warriors, and they had that tough game against Manly. At Brookie, they go over to New Zealand. So I just feel like they're battle hardened. I think they're a little bit more prepared than the Dogs.
How much faith do we have in Ricky that this is not going to be an up and down year? You know, like last year, minor premierships. How much faith do we have that this is who the Raiders are now?
Yeah, I actually do have faith.
Yeah.
And I like what I see. They're two pretty solid games. To go down to Brookie and then to New Zealand.
Yeah.
I know they didn't get away with it in New Zealand, but as you said, New Zealand are red hot. I think they come out and do something pretty special here at home.
Yeah.
And I think it then changes the perception of what kind of Canberra we're going to see this year.
Okay. See, I've got faith in Ricky. They even last year was really good, but then they struggled the year before. You know what I mean? Like they're still a little bit up and down. I think that he's got the system that he wants in
Young
place.
team.
Yeah, 100%. Especially in the halves. Who you got here?
It's a 50-50 split here. Dogs got 2 weeks prep. First game at home for the Raiders.
50-50
I'm going
split,
Raiders.
wouldn't believe it.
I'm going Raiders. Sue me, Shandor. Sue me. It's a day of fence sitting, okay? But I'm going Raiders. I just think first game at home down there.
Okay. I'm going Doggies, boys. I'm going Doggies. Yeah, I'm just such a fan of Serraldo. I love the fact that he came out in front of the media and was honest about his comments with Serraldo, with Bronson Xerri. Like, I think a lot of coaches probably would have dodged that, especially rookie coaches, because he's essentially still a rookie. Now it's 3 or 4 years now. I'm a huge fan of Serraldo. I love what the Bulldogs are building. Yes, okay, were they a bit scrappy against the Dragons? I just think that the Dogs, they go into every game essentially knowing that their opponent's not going to score more than 14, 16 points, sometimes as low as 12 points average. I don't know. I just think that's a powerful...
I do worry about the left v right Bulldogs Canberra too.
Yeah, and I just think that's something really powerful to have with the Raiders that can be so hit or miss. Like, they can leak points, and I also think that Critter, kick-out, Burton edge, like, I just think once that clicks, man...
I was watching the Warriors last week. If they're going to be peppering that side too.
Yeah, so I just...
kind of flip...
I just think that... I just think as well, what did we see last year? We saw a really big bully pack bully the Bulldogs in the first half. What did we see in the second half? We saw a fit team go, okay, we were in your style of footy in the first half. We were all fresh there. You're the big boys. You get to push us around. Well, Now it's our turn to shine, and I just think that the Dogs too fast, too fit around the ruck.
Grind them out.
Get the job done. Get the job done. All right. On to the next game, boys. Roosters v the Panthers. Bro, it's the Panthers and daylight at the moment. They are so good.
Yeah, so
I can't remember seeing a team. I've seen teams go on runs, even for a whole season, where every single player is fully bought in.
Yep.
And no one breaks the line. Whereas with the Panthers, I've never seen a team for so long, like, they never step out of line. Like, there's not a single player that goes, oh, yeah, I dropped 2 balls, but I put 2 tries on. They don't think like that at all. No one drops below this standard. And if we do, it's absolutely not good enough. Like, just the way they play, every single time they get to their points. Like, tell me the last time you saw them stuff a player. Like, someone run the wrong line.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or 2 people go on the same line. Like, I saw a clip with the Broncos, some of their attack on the weekend, and there were like 2 people running into the same height, like just all over the shop. The Penrith Panthers, they are just... It's the best dynasty we've ever seen.
You see some of those
game.
recent clips as well about Cleary breaking down plays
right.
and how they've used variations. I actually can confidently say that I believe Storm's system, from a non-negotiables basics, no one does it better. But in terms of like strategy, I think the Panthers are on a level of their own. Like the way that they execute is so much more strategic and detailed than I think anyone actually understands.
They just choke the life out of you. Like, they just basically...
Roosters should be worried because if they get towed up here, it's...
Well, no one misses their assignments at Penrith, right? You
ever.
just know your job. Liam Martin comes back into the side. Blaze Talangi, the way he's developed into a 6 so quickly.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, last year was the best thing that could happen.
yeah.
Whether he was up and down or not, it was that full year in first grade.
Unbelievable. See, with the Roosters, say round 1, they're a team that if they don't complete high, they lose, right? And then if they've kind of put a leash on Sam Walker last week, they complete a little bit higher, but they still weren't great. You know,
It was a weird one, wasn't it? I wanted to get excited about the Roosters win. It was good, but... and look, they'll take time to click. They'll take time.
But it wasn't a side that you're going to say they're going to challenge Penrith this week, right?
At the moment, no.
Nowhere near it.
Yeah.
No one's coming near Penrith at the moment. I see Penrith winning this quite easily.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with Penrith. I just think that their consistency has just been like relentless over the course of 2 80-minute games. Attack and defense, they're just so like the perfect model of how you start your season.
Yeah.
Complete
2 top
high.
4 sides, 1 try.
Yeah, they're just relentless.
try.
And the Roosters at times can be a bit flighty. So I just think that they might get away with it sometimes throughout this year, the Roosters. But I do feel like against the Penrith side that are just going to make you pay for those errors. Yeah, Penrith get away with it.
And like the 1 try was in the middle of an interchange for the Panthers, and it was in the corner by a millimetre to a degree. Like, it was, you know what I mean? Like, they have had I think the Broncos had no line breaks against them. Like, bro, it's insane. With the Roosters, like, I will give them a bit of grace. They do tend to start slowish. I thought Collins was outstanding last week compared to his first week. White, I thought it was his first big game as the big dog. And what I mean by that is like in his first season, when everything's going right for you, you're killing it. Like, I know it was his first season, but you know what I mean? When you become the man. When you go into a big game as you've got the biggest bullseye on your back, and White would have, like, all the video session would have been around White's going to get the ball, make sure he stepped up. He couldn't be stopped. And that's a scary prospect where you've got a front rower that even though the target's on his back, he still can't be stopped. It's what makes Payne Haas so great. So that's a good thing. I'm just not convinced yet with the Roosters, though. Like, I watched the game on the weekend. I thought their senior players handled the big moments better, much better. But I just still walked away going, there's been times when I've watched the Roosters where they go on their little runs where I go, I don't know who beats this side. I'm just not there yet with the Roosters at the moment.
I think a close win and showing some improvement, a close loss and showing some improvement isn't devastating. But if they let Panthers just relentlessly tear them apart, force errors and put it on them, it's not a good outcome.
Yeah, going to be a long night. A close loss, I think, would do a lot for their confidence. A win would be huge,
Massive.
huge. Okay, Storm v Broncos.
Blueprint.
Yeah, where's the blueprint? Get it out. Get it out. Madge, we've got it. Madge, I'll express mail to you.
Yeah.
Rennie's bringing it
It's
in.
in Braille, remember?
Bro.
It's in Renault's rib cartilage.
Hey, this is a tough one. Look, you just can't, like, even with Melbourne, like the way they've started, I've been so impressed with guys like Joe Chan, Lasati.
Yeah.
These guys that have stepped up for Katoa that's out. You know, Nelson's gone, Paps has gone, Suafar Long, like
Stupid.
on another level. Like it's the players that have stepped up that have been more impressive because you know what the spine's going to do.
Yeah.
You know what the spine's going to do. Brisbane, for me, I just can't see it. Like I just can't see them getting themselves out of this hole.
Yeah, my heart. I'm going to obviously go with the Broncos. We're going to pick the Broncos, but I got to be fair, Dinkum. Like I don't see how we get the job done. I think
this game will bring out the best in the Broncos. I will say that.
Yeah,
But Amy Park Storm with where they're at and the fact that
and it's a grand final rematch for the Storm.
Correct.
They're the ones that lost. That's the thing. Like with round one, everyone's like, "Oh, it's a huge clash." Like Broncos are the team that's like, "Who gives a shit? We won the comp." Like Penrith, they're a different breed. Like they set a standard whether they won the comp or didn't win the comp, they still come in. Whereas Broncos, they're so up and down. They're like, and it's just a part of their nature. They're not they're not the Storm. They're not Penrith. That you could tell that they were like, it doesn't mean as much to us. And it means a lot to them because they're 0-2, but like, it's not a grand final rematch for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Because they're just like...
I don't think many do it better in terms of revenge than the Storm.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a bit of revenge here.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the chat after, I think some clips are going to be shown. You know, they're stuck, we're up.
Guess what, Kempy?
Oh, no.
Broncos
Oh,
win.
here we go. Okay, speak to me.
I think Bronx win this week. I think
Wow.
some of the noise through the week. I think Madge loves that sort of stuff. Like he just
Okay.
gives me the vibe that he just loves it. He really plays into it. Like I saw last year, leading to the Raiders game particularly in their first final, which was an incredible game. Few little things where players getting twinges and things. I just feel like the Bronx
Okay, wow.
are just getting ready to have their first win of the year. Storm have been so consistent first two games, but let's just see.
Would you put the Grumpy Travojevic on it as a bit of a wager?
Is that what we're calling it? The Grumpy Travojevic? If I can talk to my personal major sponsor, Gloria Jeans, then I'll do it. But we'll see.
Matty, who are you going this one? You got no mic? Okay, fair enough. Okay, on to the next game. It's Knights v Warriors. Listen, Knights... Sorry? Huge doubt.
Still.
Again, did you do something
wow.
else? Okay. Well, it actually doesn't change my pick at all. I've been so happy with how the Knights have gone so far this year. I think they deserve all the credit in the world. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a big win from the Warriors. I'm going Warriors 13
Ambush.
plus. Not even an ambush. I just think the Warriors right now, they have got so much energy. They're up on their toes. They're not getting bullied by no one. I think they really have. They seem anyway at this stage a mentality of we are bigger and stronger than everyone, and we want to be tested. We dare you to test
It's
us.
like they've actually finally found the balance between what the Warriors do and the consistent football that's needed to actually
In the modern
win
game,
at this
yep.
level. Yes,
Yep.
and I'm loving watching them play. Like they're one of my favorite teams to watch them at. And I think there's just a soft spot. Everyone wants the Wars to have some success, but yeah, I agree. I think they go to Newcastle get it done.
We've spoken about it before. They're just so well coached and they're good on both sides of the ball now. Defensively, they've just been so steely. It's very Penrith right? With Webster coming through. So I can't see Newcastle going near them, especially
Not with the
missing
outs.
those outs.
Yeah.
Like, you lose one star, then you lose three of them. Like you got to feel sorry for them, right?
Yeah, and I
And this is like a marker for the Warriors. All right, we want to be a real threat in this competition. Let's go and win on the road.
Yeah.
and win well. I think.
And win well.
I don't think if they want to be a top four side, winning just by a close margin is probably not good enough for the Warriors. They want to go out there and do a job. I will say, like, Warriors have either had, like, I feel like at times they've had all the swagger in the world, but not enough discipline. And then
Yes.
sometimes there was a couple of years recently where they were too disciplined and it was like they were so predictable.
Yep.
The scary thing now is they got both. They got the swagger that's like, let's go. We want to go against the best forward packs in the comp. And at the 15-minute mark, you're not going to get us off the park. We'll go toe-to-toe with you. Then you've got the discipline as well. The goal line defense has been
The
outstanding.
energy too, like you said, I get those little tells how the players interact with each other, how they get around to each other, negative, positive things on the game. That's the stuff that I think is a great reflection of where they're at.
Did you see my Warriors Raiders joke meme in my Instagram?
No,
So what did the Warriors say to the Raiders?
what?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Lecker.
Lecker who?
Lecker D's nuts.
It's good. I like it. It's cheap.
Thanks, Ross.
It's a cheap laugh, but I like it.
You didn't, you didn't laugh, Jack, but that's fine.
I'm because I'm thinking so hard about this next game. I'm the most compromised man in this podcast. 50-50 split, Shandor. I love Andrew Webster and what they've done there at the Warriors to start the year, but I'm just gonna purely emotional. What I've done is
Fuck
go against
off.
the Knights last week, and God has punished me. So I'm going with Newcastle upset Saturday Arvo at McDonald Jones.
No, you're not.
I am.
That's a silly.
Bottom of
That's
the barrel
silly tipping.
stuff.
Honestly,
That's silly tipping.
I'm telling you right now.
That's can't be tipping.
You made me feel real safe when you backed the Broncos as well. Yeah.
I'm going to do a multi going against you on Sportsbet this week.
Please wait till you see the last round.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, the last game of this round.
I respect it.
Okay, Sharkies v Dolphins. I feel sorry for the Sharkies because like it seems really harsh, but unfortunately last week it kind of just was like you're just not on their level. And at the moment you're not close to their level. Now it is round 2. They got time to build towards it, but I'd go as far to say is like that is their bogey side. The only way you beat the Penrith Panthers is if you have a game-breaking superstar in your spine that can do things that systems can't defend against. Reece Walsh, for example, they're up 14-0 at Suncorp Stadium. This system is winning. The system is the star. And Reece Walsh goes, what system? There's no system that can stop what I can do. You look at the Melbourne Storm when they've had success against them. Granted, Penrith have been quite dominant, but they've had success against them. What is it? It's a Munster. It's a Hughes. It's a Harry Grant. And I think the Sharks on the weekend, it was just a real case of like, yeah, okay, their completion rate wasn't great at the start, but I think it was a real case in evidence of like, we just don't have that star that can shake the Panthers. Now, they can go... They're consistent enough to beat the Storm. Obviously, they've beaten them, and also the Broncos. But if you go system for system without a star in it, I just don't think it got in him.
And I don't see that they have a system. And I was just thinking about the reflection you made on Webster from being in the Penrith system. And I start to look at these coaches in a position where they're starting to develop systems and consistency in other teams. And they've come from the Storm. They've come from the Panthers. I don't know if coming from the Roosters has really set Fitzy up to develop a system at the Sharks. He's definitely had a good shift on that team, and I like the Sharks. But I think when you have to go toe-to-toe with those top teams, I just don't think the Sharks can do it.
I think their system's okay. I just don't think they've got the star to amplify it. You know?
Yeah, star, no. I think they got a bit of flair. Like I think they can put it on teams, but consistently to get in the grind and go in and arm wrestle with those top teams, I just don't think I can.
I think their system is the way Fitzy plays. He's trying to create that real defensive sort of system, but attacking wise, I just have to go off the back of what you're saying, Campy. The elephant in the room is they don't have that strike weapon. They don't have that Reece Walsh. They don't have that Su'Afalonga.
Yeah.
They've just got a really well-balanced team.
Yeah.
But but even with the Dolphins, like, I haven't been impressed with what I've seen from them either.
They've been so poor.
You know what I mean? Like, Titans deserve to win that game.
Yeah.
Last week it was the hammer that got him out of.
I agree.
The only thing that was impressive was the unicorn, the hammer. He's a joke.
But Sharks at home and a disappointing Dolphins, to be fair, because I had them in my 8. If they don't turn things around quickly, they could, have a year that's another disappointing year.
See, the Dolphins it comes out of nowhere. They had this crazy big game and they beat a team by 40 points or whatever. And I'm actually going Dolphins, and I'm going Dolphins 13 plus. I reckon this is the game. Yeah, I just think this is the game where they shock everyone and go, oh, shit. Because I only think that because...
Shark Park.
Not at Shark
Yeah,
Park.
nah, I'm doing it. I'm going all in, baby. Going in.
Chips are in.
What do you got
And
there?
it's not Shark Park anymore, boys. We've got the 2 sea creatures, the Dolphins and the Sharks, at Ocean Protect Stadium
That's right.
this week. I'm going to go with the Sharkies. I think they get it done at Shark Park. We saw how strong they were against my mighty Titans round 1. So I think they're going to back that up. And they weren't convincing last week.
How many teams do you have connections to, mate? Fucking hell.
Mate, whoever's willing to give up a stake.
Okay, Rabbitohs v the Tigers. I'm worried a little bit for the Rabbitohs. They're falling into the trap of we are so good on paper that we should be able to score every try because we kind of can at times.
Yep.
And I looked on the weekend and they just were not willing to go, you know what, let's just sit for a couple of sets on their line and build a bit of pressure because we've got Latrell on edge, we've got Fafita, we've got Jackie White, and we've got Campbell Graham. And I just think they need to take a step back and earn the right to play that kind of footy. And I think that if they do get caught up in this, it'll almost be like a vicious cycle. If they keep playing like we can score off every single try, before they know it, you'll look up around 10 and they'll be like on the edge of the 8 or something like that. And they wouldn't have put them. So they've just got to find a way to just strip it all back, play super conservative, and then once they earn the right, then give it to Latrell, give it to Jackie White, and give it to Dave Fafita. I think they were far too impatient against the Roosters. They had so many opportunities to win that game.
I hope that's the chat internally, but I don't think it is. And I think round one created a false reality for them because they can score from anywhere.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. With the players they have on either edge, it's crazy what they can do. I think what they can do, other teams can't. But yeah, I just personally don't believe that conversation is at the forefront. And they're talking about how they need to get into a grind, they need to dominate field position, and then bring in that kind of football. I think it's a tough game to pick. I'm gonna go Rabbitohs in a close one.
Yeah. Matty, you can just yell that. I don't have a mic. Do you agree with that assessment or disagree with the assessment? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going the Tigers this week, boys.
Oh, wow.
I'm going the Tigs. Nice. I really like their enthusiasm, their offloads. I feel like they're adapting a lot quicker to the 6-again rule.
How good were they to watch last week?
So
I got to say, mate,
against a Cowboys team that are
good.
legless.
Yeah, but still
just
fun as.
The way Jerome's playing.
Can we talk about Jerome Luai? And I know he does get his raps by a lot of people, but I think just people forget when he plays 6, and I know he came to play 7. I think it was more along the lines just to get this fucking club on the straight and narrow.
Great.
But when he plays 6, he is one of the best 6s in the competition. And for some reason, people still, even if you say that to them, they're like, nah, he's not. He's a top 3 6 in the game when he plays 6. And we saw that on the weekend. He absolutely shredded them.
I think it was the extension of Adam Dewey as well, the contract.
Yeah, the 2029. Mate, for real.
Oh, mate, I just love the way they're playing with enthusiasm. Benji's talk before round 1 or round 2, whenever they just look like a really young, enthusiastic side with no fear. Like seeing Fafita, Latrell, those guys in front of them, they're like, whatever, bring it on. So I'm going the Tigs.
I hope they put it on.
I'm going South. I don't mind that. It's not a bad. Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
Compromised. You got to find me. You got to find me a superhero name. Yeah, I'm going to go South Sydney. I think they got too many strike weapons. I've only seen one game so far this year from the Tigers, but I don't know. They look like a different Tigers team this year. So Ren might have a winner here. Surprise upset. So
okay.
What are they paying?
I'm going Rabbitohs, by the way.
$2.40 on them.
Okay, to the match of the round. It is the Titans. Sorry, no, the
match of the round.
This is not the match of the round. Dragons v Eels.
Yeah, clip it.
Boys, I'm going Dragons. And I'll tell you why. Eels were gutsy last week, but they weren't actually that good. The Broncos had a good 20 minutes and then they were terrible. But I loved how gutsy the Eels were. They were poor in round 1. The Dragons, on the other hand, for most of both games have been quite good. And they're paying $2.87, which is, I think that's value. And I just think that Flano is like, if I lose this game in a close one, the tag of the almost team, because that's the Dragons right now are the almost team.
Yeah.
We almost beat, we had these really close losses. If we had won these 5 close games, we would have been in the top 4 or whatever. And I'm not saying that's getting pushed from the Dragons. That's just the reality of their last couple of years. If they go 0-3, they really are the almost team. Oh, we were in it up to our ears against the Storm until still far longer. Oh, we're in it. We got a bad call against us from the Doggies. How you can't keep saying that. I know they're not saying it, but that's I guess the feeling around it from a fan perspective. So that's why I think the Dragons win.
Flanagan said they can't win a comp, didn't he?
I know internally you think that, just don't say it.
On paper, do you think they have one of the weaker rosters in the whole competition? Yes or no?
When you say weaker, are we saying bottom 4, bottom 2? What are we saying?
Not position, just on the whole from players, superstars, what they've done. Do you think they have one of the weaker rosters? Because I do.
For me, it's a bottom 4 on paper roster, but I think Flano.
I think they play above their weight in that context.
They're tough and they're gritty.
Yep.
And it's actually quite an admirable trait that they are so gritty and tough. But I'm with you. I think wherever you have them, I think on paper it's not the strongest roster right now. I think Keon is a godsend. I think he's going to be unbelievable for him.
I've got the blueprint for Para, so the way they're playing at the moment, Pezzett and Mitch Moses, it's actually a shame that Pezzett is leaving.
Spencer.
I love the way they play. I love their style of play.
Yeah.
I love the way they move the ball. They move it in transition. They're willing to chance their arm. If they can, I love the short passes between their forwards. Dragons, I've said before, they can sometimes drag you down to their level. I think Atkinson's been doing well at 7. That ball he threw.
That was elite.
Left
Just
to right.
flat.
Very
Left
good.
to right,
Oh.
flat bullet. Wow.
But at Combank, Para, too strong for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm with I'm with you, KB. I think
Okay.
I think Dragons. I think it's a really important
Can
game
you
for the
disclose
Dragons.
any connections to the Dragons first? Or?
Let me just think. No.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, Cookie. I like Cookie. But I just think that they've got plenty of experience. They might. I do agree. They probably don't have one of the stronger rosters. But what they don't lack in is experience. They do have a bit of experience. I think if any team can handle the two close losses and then nag a win on the third, I think this team can do it. And I think I'm with you. I think Flano knows just how important it is to get this win, because imagine what it does to the mentality of the team if they go 3 losses to start the year.
Against the Eels too. Like the Eels are not a top 8 side to a lot of people right now. They haven't been playing like a top 8 side.
Yeah, so
At
I
this
think they can get it done. I think they can get it done. The Dragons.
So like if there's a game to win outside of some of the bottom tier sides, like this is a very winnable game for the Dragons. That's why I can't believe the 287. Okay, match of the round. It is the Cowboys versus the Titans. Look, I think the Cowboys are playing for Peyton's future. I think if he loses this game at home, I think he's gone by the end of the week. And it doesn't bring me joy saying that. I hate talking about people getting moved on, similar to the Seibold situation. But I just think if they can't get a win against how bad the Titans have looked. The Titans were gutsy last week. They were still poor.
Yeah.
Like, they were gutsy as. I think that if the Cowboys want Peyton as a coach, here's your chance to keep him as a coach, because it is purely in the players' hands as to whether he is there or not there the next week.
Yeah, 100% agree with that.
I'm gonna go the Titans. I just think the mood and in the camp up in North Queensland is just. It's just not a place you want to be around. You know, even when you want to try and get up for the game, if things start to turn or things aren't going your way in the game, the mood drops, things creep in. Titans, I've seen improvement every week. Each week they've improved, and they were unlucky to win last week. But I just see so much. I just see so many problems at the
There's a
Cowboys.
negative vibe as well.
It's
It's
just
one thing
so-
to be out of form. It's another thing to look like people are not happy.
Yeah, you know what else I've seen as an extension on that from the energy chats and the negativity is I saw them doing things that looked like there wasn't that much care about it. Whether it was a straight pass and it just looked like, whatever. Like the things that you probably wouldn't do or be willing to try, or the reaction would be different from them. So that was telling
Honestly,
last week.
similar-ish to the Manly situation. They're playing like a team that doesn't seem like they're on board with their coach. Like it's again, you can be not in form but still on board with your coach, but just the energy they're showing on the field, it doesn't look like they're a team that are fully like, mate, our coach is going to get the sack if we lose.
Yeah.
But do we try?
Oof.
That's enough for me to go. I can't pick yous this week.
Yeah.
I said this on Monday too. I personally, to send a message, I know Drinking's one of their best players and he's a legend of a bloke, but to send a message, I know he's got a sternum injury, but unfortunately, I would have dropped him this week for that. It sucks. And I know that there are way more problems than that, but it would have sent a message of this is not the standard we're accepting. And with Drinky, I'd be saying, mate, if you're too injured, and I know Peyton's probably not saying that because he's desperate to get a win, so he's trying to push him to be on the field. And maybe there is a world where Drinky was like, mate, I'm no good. But he kind of got pushed into playing or whatever. Again, I don't know. But I would just be like, listen, you're clearly, whether it was an attitude or it was an injury thing, you're clearly not in the right headspace to get on the field. It would just be 1 week. I'd bring him in the next week. But you can't watch a bloke just score a try in front of you without trying to grab the ball. Regardless of how injured you are, once you cross that white line, there's no put it this way, I've never walked off an NRL game and been like, the coach is like, you played poor, and I was like, oh yeah, but my shoulder's fucked. They'd be like, I don't give a fuck. If you cross that line.
Can you imagine watching that at review? When it comes up, what was they called, the EDLs or whatever, and you just like,
yep. You can see your name just there.
Like,
drink water, try. Saver.
You got to watch that in front of your peers.
Yeah.
But these are the behaviours and actions that I don't think pop up from a team that's bought in.
That's why I'm with you. That's why they're not.
Right.
That's not a player, to me at least, it looks like that is worried, that is sitting there going, if we lose my coach that I really love and has got, I don't know. What do you reckon, mate? What are you going in?
I'm having a flashback to on that analyzer, that what you're talking about there, the ADLs.
We've all been there. I've been there. So
I remember one of my last reserve grade matches, Oaks had, I reckon, usually like on average you might have like 30 or 40 of them after a game. I reckon Oaks had about 200 just sitting there, went through every single one. I'm thinking I'm going Titans. I think obviously the pressure that's mounting up there at the Cowboys, it's going to be a bit of a test for them to get this done, but hopefully the Titans boys can build on, get another 5% on what they built on last week, and hopefully they get it done.
Is Campbell back? Campbell's back.
He's named on the extended bench.
Possibly back.
So we'll have to wait and see game day. Will it be game day or the day before they usually
just
announce?
tell us.
How would I know?
You're on the board, aren't you?
Mate, we're just looking after. We're just helping out the juniors, mate.
Okay, breaking news, and this is good. This is just gossip stuff. This is good old-fashioned rugby league gossip. So 3 hours ago, Walshy posted a selfie to his story with a face almost like this guy saying, all bark, no bite, in response, allegedly, to Stefano's comments. Boys, speak to me.
This is spiced it right up, hasn't
Well
it?
played.
This
Hey?
is spicy
I love that.
stuff.
I love
and
it.
look, I think Walshy can say because of what he's done,
Yeah.
but I will say Stefano did say that say it before the game, not after the game. He's come out all bark, no bite about a front rower.
A great return serve.
It's a great
and,
return.
and if it was going to come from anyone, it had to be Walshy.
Yeah, Walshy.
Wow.
Just quietly, Walshy.
This is rugby league filth, and I love it.
Yeah, it's filth.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. The players need to be doing this more.
Yes.
You have this every single week. Like it's what 27 rounds. You know, it does get a bit boring every now and then.
Yeah.
If we can have more of this,
Yeah.
jeez.
I'm with you. And I think as well, like, they'll probably shake hands. Like, it's not that bad. You know what I mean? It's not like they're saying anything serious. It's all a bit of bants. I would say, just quietly, guess how much, okay, first of all, guess how much followers Nathan Cleary has?
200.
I'm going to go 650,000.
520.
The closest, 480.
Wow.
Guess how much Kalen Ponga has?
3.
I'm going to go
No,
5.
You'd be up around 400.
372. 372. So we've gone 480, 372. Guess how much Reece Walsh has?
He doesn't have a milli, surely.
1.1.
No, just
Seven.
on Instagram. 673,000.
Wow.
Like,
Times have changed, bro. That's
marketable.
Crazy. They're big numbers.
He's got Sandor looks. Like, he's
They're big
marketable.
numbers.
Like, look,
to be
He's-
that much
he's
bigger
big- he's
than
beautiful.
Cleary and Ponga, like, that's crazy,
yeah.
bro. That's crazy.
You're getting that young crowd.
no, if you this day and age in social media, Sandor, you would have had, by the time you finish your career, mate, you would have finished
yeah,
with 800
surely.
million, maybe.
Yeah.
There we go.
Can you imagine his DMs?
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
What, bro, you should have seen my DM, boys. I was killing it. Oh,
Good on you, Walshy.
yeah, love that from Walshy. Who's won the battle so far, just verbally? Now we got Walsh Eminem, who said,
You're always in a better position when you get
win.
to snap back.
when you say, okay, you get to return serve.
Yes, because what he's not going to come out now and come out and say again. And unfortunately, I don't know what the platform numbers are. I probably won't bring it to air. But yeah, I don't think it's going to have the same impact. So the return serve's always the good one.
Okay, so you got Walshy up at the moment
Yeah, I
with the
got
chat.
Walshy. I like it.
Yeah, well, it's got to be Walshy. I can't see him getting on the blurter anytime soon. So I'd say, yeah, he gets the last word.
Okay, because he's gone. They were called stuck. He got called stuck up. He's gone. They're stuck. We're up. So the M&M route, 8 Mile stuff, and now he's gone all bark, no bite. Sorry, yeah, all bark, no bite with the eyes. He even did the eye emojis. Fucking hell, bro. This is good.
They're always
This is
alluding to
slop.
something, aren't they?
Yeah, like what does that mean? You know, is it like this fucking guy, or is it like wow, this is going to be
How would
fun?
Madge be feeling? He'd
Oh,
be similar
yeah,
to the
true.
bellyache situation.
Well, my
right?
hope is no one goes and has a conversation with Walshy and says, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Shut up."
Yeah.
Well, you
Play
know what?
on.
You know what? Madge has almost dug his own grave in regards to this stuff because he got around the toilet stuff after the grand final win. So if you can't get around the toilet stuff and then pull the boys back.
I might change my pick. I might go Bronx.
I reckon it suits the Bronx more.
It does.
I think
It
Madge
gets him
likes
up.
this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
But it does. It's like, all right, let's back our.
Yeah,
number
if you're
one.
going to say anything, just
Yeah.
say, "I'll back it up." You
Back it
say
up,
what you want. Just
and
back
then
it up.
all the boys, let's get around Walsh. He's backed it up on Instagram in
Yep.
front of 670,000 followers.
Probably reach more.
There you go.
Let's rally, boys.
Okay.
Storm 13 plus.
Just quickly as well, Little is back for the Dragons. Huge in.
Yep.
Humphreys is also back for South. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right, that's us done at us. Give the door a follow. Reni a follow. Big fella follow. Jackie, don't follow. Unfollow Matty. If you're following Matty, unfollow him. Just all jokes aside.
Give us
follow
one more
the
laugh,
Boy.
Matty.
Give Matty a follow. Yeah. We'll all go fuck ourselves. Thank you.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.